How we doing, traders on out there? Welcome to none other than Money Mitch. We're going to go ahead and get into what happened today. Was this a topping of the SPY? Hit the like button down below. Hit the share button. Let everybody know Money Mitch is on. We're going to take a lot of stocks from the chat today, as today's one of those days where we need to go ahead and take a reassessment, see what we're looking in the market, and see what we could be trading. Let's go ahead. Let's get right into it. Welcome to Money Mitch.
It's time for Money Making Mitch. When investors need a story, we're going to the moon. Welcome to Money Mitch, where story is everything. I'm here to find you the next opportunity. It's all about the green hands. Now we all know the bull market is here to stay. Money Mitch.
What's going on, traders? How we doing on out there? Hope you guys are as excited to get into the show. Let's go ahead. Let's talk about what happened today. A lot of comments coming from the Fed. Let's get into that. Brainerd, who's usually considered more dovish, a Fed member, today coming out with what, of course, the balance sheet rapidly to drive down inflation, that the central bank needs to shrink that. And we've talked about it, how much of a difference it really means to not just stop the buy button, but to actually hit the sell button. And I think that was the worry that actually got us concerned in the Fed minutes way back in January. Now you're starting to see what more concern about that selling of the assets, because that's really going to drive the economy down if they just keep selling those off. And then she went and talked about how Fed Governor Lay Bernard said Tuesday that the central bank could reduce the balance sheet as soon as May and would be doing so at a rapid pace. She also said that it would include a higher rate than was expected. In addition, the market expects the Fed to lay out the plan of how it's going to do this in the May meeting, and nearly $9 trillion have to come off the balance sheet. Last time they did this at 50 billion rate. The question is it going to be more like 100 billion coming off the balance sheet? We're going to keep watching that. Bonds were already having a rough morning. Then comments also from Bernard just destroyed and hit the bonds even harder. So we're going to keep watching those comments tomorrow. Don't miss it, guys. The Fed minutes is going to be massive. I think it's important. You're going to see more comments about what potentially how they want to get those assets off faster, and how inflation isn't slowing down. If anything, it's increasing, and we need to pay attention to this. I've been saying it constantly. Inflation isn't going away, guys. This is why I don't think we're in a new bull market, because the inflation is just too heavy. The Fed has way too much handcuffed here ability to do. We just continue to rise rates until we lead into a recession. And then today, Deutsche Bank, DB Bank, coming out there and being the first bank to go on record and saying that they expect to see the US get into a recession. So we've been talking about these concerns. Now it's really showing up in our face. I know the bulls are feeling a little bit hurt today. I'm not really a bear, but these economical factors could go ahead and weigh on our markets, even though we're still reopening, having good jobs. At the end of the day, what are you seeing? You're seeing high inflation. Mortgage rates go to 5% today. So mortgage rates going above 5%. What does that do? More pain on the smaller guy, not the big guy. It is going to be more pain on your middle class and your small and your lower class. I think that's where you're seeing the consumer start to hurt. Of course, there's going to be the higher end middle class that I think is going to be okay during these times. We have been seeing wages go on up, so they should probably make it on through the waves. But the lower middle class and lower class, they're going to definitely fight to struggle with this inflation rise. Then mortgages continue to rise. The Fed raising rates just going to continue to rise those mortgage rates, which we could potentially see mortgage rates up to who knows, 10% by next year. We'll see what happens there. Let's go ahead. Let's get into the market and see what we saw here going into the close. And really, I mean, leaking all day long here, guys. So let's go ahead. Let's take a look here at the SPY. As you can see here on the SPY, guys, we kind of faded away from getting back above the 457. I've drawn this kind of trend line, this red line for a while now for us. And you can see here, we're starting to battle that line. And every time we battle that line, we're not holding the gains there. So you got to be careful here in the SPY. But if you take a look here, you can see here, this was my green line above 458. You have this trend line that you can draw from these highs, and it leads right into this today. And we're going to look to see, now do we start breaking through the low here, 450? If we break 450, we could easily be back down to 440s, and then we'll see if we get to the 430s and continue making our way down. Now, one thing to keep on radar is, I've talked about this, that the SPY jumped 13% in 2008 before it went down 13% right after that. So could this have been a dead cat bounce? It could be. So what I'd say here is just be careful in what you are holding long term in the swing trades, because that very much could not have been the bottom. As much as everybody's saying, is this area the bottom? It could come back down and test that area. We'll see what happens. Just don't want to see people get caught and not expect to see downside action, because at the end of the day, either way could happen here. We could either come back through 458 or we could come back down towards the 430s. Right now, I'm going to be watching to see what happens. 450 is going to be the level tomorrow to watch. Do we break through the 450 and hold down below that? Or do we get back above the 454, get into the 455, and then just eventually getting back towards 458 towards the upside level breakout? We're going to be watching to see what happens there. Let's take a look at what stocks were strong today and what was not. If you take a look here, utilities is the only thing in the green and barely in the green from the open. Well, let's take a look at some of the higher capitalization stocks today. You got NEE, Duke, SOD, Dominion Energy. We've been talking about these. They made some nice moves today, but as you can see, they also fought to continue the gains there. They just could not continue the gains, and with the market coming back down, they just were barely into the green. But I do think that you keep these on watch to see what happens. We talked about this one, Xcel Energy, here on Money Mitch on the 28th on Monday, and look where it is now. We're already up there towards 5% up. That was last week, Monday. And look where we're at now, a week later, about 5%. That's not a bad trade there for Xcel Energy. All right, so consumer defensive's not doing too bad. Grocery store is actually doing well here. That was really led by DDL, of course, Ding Dong. We were talking about that one on live trading. We're going to continue watching this one as we're seeing definitely some rise in interest. But right now, let's take a look at some other ones. MF is one that I'll call out here. This is a penny stock. It opened up here in July of last year and has just been gone straight down. So you guys can see it bouncing today. The real question is, does this one become a penny stock? I would try to stay away from it. I don't want to see anyone just get caught up in there. All right, so SFM, of course, Sprouts Market. You can see here on the daily how you've been trying to get back above the 32 and hold. Every time you do get it back above the 32, you kind of fail to hold those breakouts. Let's see if we can get back above 32 and into 33 tomorrow on SFM. All right, KR, of course, Kroger. You guys have known that this one's been a big ripper since kind of Berkshire did the purchase, Buffett going for it. As you guys can see, this has just been on a sideways uptrend here, higher and higher lows. So as long as that trend continues, you're looking good in KR. We'll see if it gets back through the 59 level tomorrow and can continue making that lift to 60. All right, so other areas, beverage, wines, and distilleries, not doing too bad here. Let me catch up with the chat. I know that you guys are probably already getting some good information in here. Took mostly hands-off approach today. I'm still too green to make any moves. Hey, that's what you got to do sometimes. It's okay to decide and kind of wait to see what happens. But just like always, don't get caught in indecision. I like to get, as a trader, be more decisive whichever way I be. If I'm wrong, I am wrong. I don't make decisions to be right or wrong. I make decisions to be in the right probability. And that's what I want to be. And then sometimes I'm going to make decisions just to protect myself, man. Because at the end of the day, we always got to protect ourselves. We got to make sure that we're not going to be up risk to go ahead and just give up money and just to give it away. All right, so today I did take off my lithium play, but let's go ahead. Let's take a look at a couple more of these consumer defensives because you could still see some strength in here. So DG, Walmart, those are ones that I'll tell you to take a look at. They are setting on up. Dollar General here looking like it wants to push on up there through that. And you can see here this nice trend line. This does look like a nice setup. We're going to keep watching this one, discount stores, to see if we can pop above that level tomorrow, 231s, and really start moving. Walmart is another one that I'd keep on watching when we have inflation. And of course, the prices keep going up. What happens? What happens is we go to Walmart. We go and try to save some money. So let's pay attention to these cheaper types of play. Discount stores is what we're going to keep on watch here to see if the inflation comes into play here. Let's take a look there. Walmart trying to hold the 149 pullback. Held that today. So you got two levels to go off here. 150.08, 150.13. We're going to call it even at 150 or 149.90s. Let's just call it there based on the top close of this. This is 149.87. So if you want to put that at the 90 mark or the 87 mark, that's fine with you. I have it there at the 87. Going to keep watch on Walmart for those pullbacks. We've gotten one up, one down, two up, two down, three up, three down. Going to look for a pullback towards 150.70 and then a breakout tomorrow above 153. And that's Walmart. And let's take a look at some other ones in the industry to see if we could see them coming on back. Costco, you can see here, has just continued the trend here since early March. It's been pushing back. This was a good move there, 20% in that move in Costco. You could see some pullback in that right now. So I'm not going to go ahead and say that that one's going to keep going. It looks like it's pulling back a little bit. Target here, trying to find some bottoming action. I think it's important to watch this one. One of the things that I would say is that you do have a level on the monthly you can go off of now around the 206 range, or you can go towards 205. So that's what we're looking towards on the downside. We're looking for a move back on up through the 220s to get you to the 230s. That's not a bad look. That would be a 5% move. We'll see if Target's able to get out of this trend and really just start pushing. Right now, it's kind of sideways. We'll look to see if it can get back above to 220s tomorrow. All right, the last one I'll bring up in these discount stores is to pay attention, of course. Dollar Tree you can take a look at, but I like to take a look at Ollie. I'm going to take a watch on this one. I did see a rating, a nice inside day after a really strong day. So we're going to look for a push out of this one through the 49.86 level. You could get pullbacks to 47 right now. You're down there towards that 47. We're going to look for this to hold the pullback here, maybe test down to 46.75, but really quickly recover 47 tomorrow. All right, let's go ahead. Let's keep going on that. What is a ticker symbol out there that I can follow even if it's end of day data for mortgage rates? So mortgage rates, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and use different sites. Different sites take surveys and you're able to take a look. But also what you want to be kind of paying attention to is kind of just the reports, the housing reports that come out. These come out monthly. So definitely pay attention to that so that you can catch those monthly reports. All right, let's keep going. Dollar General items are actually more expensive. Dollar stores are a ripoff. I mean, I don't know about that one, honestly, because I could still get a soda in a dollar store, and I can't get a soda in a grocery store for $1. So you're right and you're wrong. I can't say you're wrong, but I can't say you're right either. So you're on both sides there. We'll see what happens. Ollie's not a bad one to take a look at. And of course, big lots also on my radar. We'll see if this one can get off the floor. This one's not looking good, but could reverse here off this trend and all of a sudden get on back here towards the 40. And then all of a sudden it's changing kind of the story there. All right, let's go ahead. Let's keep going to some other stocks in the chat. If you guys got some stocks you want to take a look at, we can definitely take a look at. Technology today definitely getting hit, and what got hit the hardest was semiconductors, solar names pulling on back, but semiconductors looked really bad there. So just be careful in some of those names. You're going to start seeing some real leakage out in some of these. And look at these. Look at this chart. This chart just looks horrible. Just NVEC holding at 56, really breaking down there towards 52 today. Form. This looks like it wants to break down. Also, it looks like it was trying to hold, couldn't hold. Now starting to break back down. We'll see if this one can hold 41 and keep breaking on the downside. AMD had a bad day today too. Couldn't hold that 108. Looking like we're going back towards that 103. Be careful. If it breaks that 103, we could go fast through the 100. All right, let's see. That's going to be it for technologies. Consumer cyclicals giving up the gains that it did. Some of these stocks like DLPN going way down there, guys. Be careful with these NFT names that just come out for a couple seconds. This stock was up yesterday and just caught a whole bunch of people, I'm sure. And I almost hate to see stocks like that because it was just a trick there. Carvana struggling there. You guys can see they're not doing well either. I think this is one that you got to be careful. This one could come back down through that 100 price point. Could come back all the way back down towards, let's say, 33. So just be careful there in Carvana. I know I am staying away from that stock and could break down big. GME, oh, man, it just doesn't look good here, guys. The rejection from the 200 coming on down there to the 150. Needs to hold 150 tomorrow to at least make some kind of bounce. All right, let's go to stocks in the chat. I see a lot of stocks being mentioned. Twitter, of course, being mentioned. Twitter pulling back today, trying to fill the gap, I think, back down towards 50. But let's take a look here. What do we see? You can see how we kind of held these gains here. Let's go towards the hourly, see if we're finding some hourly support. Looks like we broke out of this level and then broke it down on the hourly. So to me, I need to recover that level. That was a resistance that we want to see become support. That's 51.17. So let's see if we can get a recovery towards 52 tomorrow on Twitter. All right, let's go ahead. Let's do it. Pin said, Kosh, I got you. Let's take a look here. Pins is down today. Was a nice setup. It was a really nice setup through the 28. If you take a look here on the daily, it looks like it just wants to get on up here to the highs, and it just rejected today. Make sure that tomorrow you don't break those lows, 25.50s, that could hold here around 26 and then be back up there towards 27. Right now, I'm going to stay away, but it does look interesting. Follow with Spear. So let's take a look at that one. SPIR here, Spire Global. Just doesn't look like it's coming back right now. I know this one was a SPAC. It just doesn't look like it wants to come back. But I can tell you one thing, at least you are getting the volume that you need to get yourself out of these. We'll see if we can get that volume back above 225. All right, let's go ahead. Let's keep hitting the likes, guys. I only see 25 likes, so do me the favor, guys. It's 165 of you guys watching here. Smash the like button. Let's keep going. All right, other stocks being mentioned. Eagle, what's going on out there? Bubba. Of course, some items have a way of making greater profit margins at dollar stores. Of course. That seems to make sense. Can you look at Spire was green today after a month of sideways? It's not a bad thing to look at for a little bit of sideways action, but you want to see it close green on the monthly. So if this candle can close green on the monthly, you'll be looking good because you had a Harmy in March. So that's not a bad look if you're going off of maybe this low to 162. That's actually a ways from here. So just be careful there. It could come back to the 162. We'll see if we get this green candle to close up, let's say up there towards 353. All right, let's see what happens on out there. Could gold and silver names come back into rotation with inflation fears? So great question, Jonathan. I actually was the person I feel like was on top of the gold move first. And I'm going to show you why. because I was watching the basic materials and kind of following to see when we were going to break on out here for gold. And we're going to show you the area that we watched and called the bottom off of. Let's take a look here. So gold, right? Gold is very important to see it when it actually going to come off these levels. If you can see here, we were already drawing up the box here, right here on what February 13 is when we really started watching this to look for a move towards resistance. It got to that line there on updated on the 13th. We ended up making it towards there on that 13th, up there towards the trend line, pulled back below it, and then broke out above it. Now, one thing that I did see, though, is the gold starting to look a little bit weaker, starting to look like we're coming back there to this trend line. And so we're looking like we're coming back towards these wicks. On the downside, we could be back down towards 950s here on the overall index. And you do see some topping out action here on this chart. So just be careful, because I am starting to see that gold might be turning around and it could be coming back down towards 950s. If that happens, it could actually drag the market even further down. All right, can gold and silver come back with the inflation? Of course it can come back, like names like AG. It has gone a big boost, but it's already done it. It's made a huge move, about 52%. So this could have been it, and we could see the end of the gold and the silver run. Not calling it just yet, but definitely keeping an eye out. Of course, AU was one I was watching today for a breakout above these levels. And look how this just keeps rejecting above 2450s, showing me weakness down towards the support. If it breaks 23, it could easily be back down there towards 21. All right, let's keep going. Let's take a look at some of the stocks that you guys have mentioned. Rivian being mentioned in the chat. That's interesting. All right, so Rivian coming on down there towards the 40. I think this is one that you just stay away from until the valuation makes sense. To me, that's going to be closer towards half of this, towards about 25. Around then, I'm going to actually start dipping my toes in Rivian for a long-term type of play. They're an interesting play, but man, have they gotten cheap since that opening price that was up above 100, and now we're down there towards 42. It's already cut half of it and could continue cutting half of it here. You DWACkers, what's going on out there? DWAC. DWAC is definitely one to kind of watch for maybe a bounce back as you see Twitter weakness come in. But to me, I think this is one you just stay away. It could easily be back down there towards 30 or even $10 tomorrow. So just be careful. Do I like DWAC? I'm just not a fan of something at this valuation unless it's actually out and Trump's running it and everybody's in it. I'm going to stay away from it. Bubba said he just bought Twitter. Can't blame you for at least going for the attempt. What was the website or broker you're using for charts? I'm actually using TC2000 here. The reason I use TC2000 is it allows me to use my sector to industry analysis really quickly. You guys see me bust through here, and I could do this almost instantly, guys. I can find what was struggling. Okay, so trucking struggling right now, guys. Trucking has really turned around. Look at USAK. Look at that one. Look at Ryder. Really turned around. That's what I use TC2000 to find those movers. Meet Zach. Meet Zach? What is this, like a I've never heard of you, Meet Zach. Are you the next Meet Kevin that I need to know about? I need to know. NIO? What do you want to know about NIO? You bullish or bearish, NIO? Let me know, Meet. Right now, I've seen NIO starting to come back there. It tried to get up there towards the high there. 2462 was an important level to get above, and we failed to get above that level today. We're going to keep watch to see what happens in these Chinese names. But if the market's going to be weak, you probably see that sell-off. I think you got to keep your eyes on a name like Baba also if you're in NIO, because Chinese names have been going really hand in hand right now. So like JD also. If this starts sinking down there towards the 50, you could see NIO wipe out. XPEV, of course, is going to trade very similar. And what do you see there? Some topping out action. We could come in down there. LI, same thing. Topping out action. Could come back down towards 25. But if these break above the resistance, then, yeah, we'll take a look there. NIO and LI and XPEV did beat on the expectations on the deliveries, so the interest was coming back. Also, comments about China with their auditing systems and kind of fixing that was making the drive happen here. And now you're seeing it turn around. Just be careful because you could see that downside action. All right, Delta is making a new terminal at New York LaGuardia Airport. They have their own refinery. What are your thoughts? Well, Delta is all about kind of, is the airline, the industry going to come back overall, right? Are we ever going to be flying as much as we did before the pandemic? Is business travel going to come back? I think that's what you got to keep watching for this year. Is business travel starts slowly but surely coming on back, then yeah, you could see Delta continue that lift. But as you can see, we've already ran a significant amount from this bottom. I don't know how long-term you're talking about DAL right now, but right now, Delta looks like it's topping out here in the 39.89 area, rejecting the hold above 40. AMD is one that I already talked about. We're going to keep it on watch to see if it breaks through the 100. It didn't hold that 108, 110 area today, and we'll see what happens. Let's go to my lithium play. It was a 10% winner on the max gain today. Glad I took the shares. I thought it was coming back down there towards the 26. Could find a bounce there, so we could get back into this lithium trade, but it was already up there towards 28. We were looking for a 30 breakout. If you guys remember, we got in this one right underneath 25, around 24.80s, looking for the push there towards 30s. We got up there towards 28. It didn't get there towards 29 today, but ended up taking a 10% winner on this. Can't be mad about the swing trade on Lavient Corporation. LAC also turned around today, big. So just be careful because that was a big pullback, but it could hold that tomorrow and really quickly just go right back on up. Gold turning around is a little bit of a scary sight. BTU, definitely coal. I didn't expect to see it go into the red today. It broke out right out the gates and then eventually gave that up, those gains, even though we got a great catalyst mentioned in coal. Of course, mentioned today, EU banning the import of Russian coal there. So really important. Pay attention to this because this could lead to higher inflation. Keep coming. This could increase oil back. This could bring coal back also. So let's pay attention to these commodity trades to see if they come back and they keep showing up with that asset appreciation and, of course, inflation leading the party. Get the likes up. I hope you guys appreciated today's show. Like always, I get into stocks that you guys like. I check the sectors and industry, do the sector and industry analysis. It's always about the rotation. This game rotates. A lot of the times we need to find where the money's going and where we should be looking for tomorrow. I'll see you guys on live trading tomorrow without Ryan Faluna, but of course we will have Zunaid. So please smash that like. I'll see you guys on live trading, and like always, keep it right here on Benzinga, and let me know, what did you guys think of the Hyliion interview yesterday? I know I enjoyed it, got a lot from that Hyliion experience, and looking forward to some new experiences. I'm looking at a company tomorrow. We're going to be interviewing Arrival. So stay tuned, guys. Tomorrow, Arrival will be on Benzinga Live. I'll be joined by Chris Ketchy. I hope that you guys want to check that one out. That's an EV. I really like it because of their micro factories, but you guys check it out for yourself tomorrow on Benzinga Live. That'll be at 12:15. Let's keep it going, and I'll see you guys next time. And have a good night, guys. Take care.
Check.